So we're back with another episode with our guy Rims.
Yes.
Come on.
Raji. That's good to be here.
The third Apollo man is finally here in person. Mm-hmm. So you know this one's gotta go hard. We gotta keep going.
Yes, sir.
So we're getting into 2024 now.
Yes.
End of 2023. I think this year was challenging for a lot of people. I think for everyone that I know, this year challenged them in one way or another. Yeah. So I just wanted to find out, from all of us, how the 2023 was, the different lessons that they learned. Yeah. So I'll start with you, Rims.
Nah, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's go, Rims.
Let me jump in. 2023 for me was an interesting one. I won't lie. Combination of one of the best years I've had and one of the worst years I've had. Because if you look at the positive, a lot of the times, like if you just look at your year, it's easy to focus on the hard things that happened to you. 2023 was difficult for me because this happened. 2020 was difficult because this happened. I look back and I was like, 2023, even though it wasn't what I wanted it to be, I made A, B, C, D developments, which made it in total a good year. So in 2023, as much as there were good things, it was a tough year. But I learned some important lessons that I want to carry with me into 2024. And I think regardless of how your year ends, how your year goes, the most important things are what are you going to take from that year and put into the next. That's the most important thing. Regardless of how it ends. If it ends 2023 ends on a high note, 2023 ends on a low note. The most important thing is what are we going to take from there and put into the next year. That's the most important thing. And you start your year off on a high note. So I'll just touch on one thing that I learned this year. And that's, first of all, it's like one, accountability and no excuses mindset. No excuses.
Yeah, we were so serious.
God damn. Those are some serious points, bro.
You're like, dog, no excuses.
And you need the two of them.
Yeah. Accountability and no excuses. Like when Tamu, you brought up that chat to me, because I was thinking about it when we were in the mall earlier. Like as the CEO of Soundscape Studios, right? Yeah. There are certain questions that you have to ask yourself. As a CEO, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? There's no one who's more accountable in an organization than a CEO. Right? If we were to audit your business, you are the CEO of your own life. Right? With the board of directors, would they keep you in business as the business of Ngoni? Before we even talk about your own individual, your own business or whatever. Would the board of directors say you're taking your organization to a good place? They would fire you one time. No excuses, because we always like after a year we always be like, you know what? Obviously there's always valid things that happen, right? But at the highest level, and I feel like that's what Apollo's always been about, going to the highest level. At the highest level, there is absolutely no excuses. This happened, that happened. Cool. We are our results.
Yeah, that's true, man.
The board of directors cool.
The board of directors, I'm going to be like,
let's see the financial statements.
They're going to be like, want to see the financial statements. What did you gross? What growth did your organization make this year? Okay, cool. You're saying could we face these challenges? How did you strengthen your organization so that we don't face these challenges in the next year? Because maybe they were inevitable. Cool. What have you shown to say, Kuti, okay, I've put these and these reinforcements into my organization, the business of me? Because I think, we're all business owners here. It starts off with self-management. Before you can manage your business, you need to be able to manage self. It starts off with self-management. So if you're already developing an excuses mindset within yourself, what more for your business? What more for your career? What more for your relationship? I think they all tie together. So yeah, just to cut it a bit short, 2023, the lessons I really learned, and that I really want to go into 2024 with accountability and absolutely no excuses mentality. No one else but me is responsible for my successes and failures.
Yeah.
That's what I want to take into 2024.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And obviously I liked everything that you said, but I really liked the example that you gave of a board of directors because do what you do, regardless of the results, you have to be accountable. And when you accept that, you put it into everything that you do, which is one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn this year as well, because there was a lot of good and a lot of bad, but I couldn't stop coming to work, or I couldn't stop coming to the studio, because if I didn't, then no one else would. You know what I mean? And that was the first time for me that like I had to actually look at myself and dress myself as an entrepreneur and really look at my strengths and my weaknesses, and I wasn't impressed. And that was obviously probably my board of directors. You know what I mean? Like taking the good, I've done this, I've done that, but I could have been doing a lot more. And even in that moment of reflection, the business is still there, or whatever it is you're doing is still there. You can't like abandon it, you know? And really just finding the strength to keep going was one lesson that I learned, and ties in very well with the no excuses mindset, because even when you are in a bit of a difficult time with your business or whatever it is, you need to remember that you still know what you want, you still know the end goal, and before you got to this period, you could see the vision clearly, like regardless of what's happening. I think I also had to learn how to keep my eye on the prize, you know, like how to just keep going, essentially. Yeah, I don't know, it was a lot, man, like it was a lot, but without getting into like the specifics, the most important thing for me was just perseverance.
Keep going.
Even if you don't know where you're going, it's like go show up sad, or show up scared, or show up confused, or show up unsure. Just show up. You know
just show up,
and then everything else will work itself out. So yeah. I think I'll go more into the specifics after Rhea has also spoken. But yeah, for me that was pretty much.
That's deep, bro.
Yeah.
That's deep.
sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
I love that, bro.
Yeah, that's hard. But like I really like what Ngoni said when he mentioned in the beginning that it's so easy to look back at the year and just focus on the bad times, right? Look back on the year and focus on the hard times, because obviously, I don't know what it is, man, but it's easier to remember the pain than it is, to remember the good times. But for me personally, I had to take a step back and be like, you know what, like a lot of good things happened this year. You get me? Like a lot of good things happened this year. I can't say that I didn't see God's hand in my life this year, even though I didn't achieve everything that I wanted to achieve. But I feel like it's hard to do that, because you know you have your plans, but God also has His plans. You get me? So you can't predict the timing. You can't predict when. I always say that you can't predict when certain things are supposed to happen. But looking back at it, like it was a great year. You get me? It was a great year. I think the year started off a bit rough for me personally, because you know when you get into a new year, you're like, nah, dog, this is my year. Like I'm going hard. You go hard, and that's how I started this year. And then, like, you know, you might have a few disappointments, and you know, gathering that strength to get back to tell yourself, nah, I have to keep going. Like Tamu said, and you said perseverance. Like I have to keep going. But in terms of the actual lessons that I learned this year, I think for me, one of the biggest lessons was just to, you know, take it easy on myself, right? So even though, you know I need to stay disciplined and stuff like that, but taking it easy on yourself in the sense that, you know, acknowledge when, you know, you've done what you said you're going to do. You get me? You have to give yourself credit, because no one else is going to give you credit, right? And a lot of these things take time. So as long as you know you're putting in the work, you're being consistent, you need to acknowledge that, and not, you know, you can't base your outlook on the year on the results that came out of it. Nah, you need to base it on the work, on the reaping. You reap and you sow. You don't know when you're gonna sow, but the reaping years count. They count the most. these years are way more important than the years when you sow. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Actually, I think I was also failing to see also the positive, and I think that's just the balance of life. You know, you can choose to focus on the positive or the negative, but both of them are always running at the same time.
Yeah.
In every situation, like you were saying, there is a lot of good stuff that happened this year. And I think that should also be a source of strength in general. Like, okay, I didn't do this, but I did that.
I did that.
Exactly.
And I did that well, and that's fine. I did something, you know?
Exactly. And I feel like, you know, as a high performer, you're naturally always going to be hard on yourself, right?
Yeah.
You're always going to feel like you're not doing enough. I feel like all the grades suffer with that, right? But this year also kind of made me, I wouldn't say it changed my perspective on success, but I feel like success is different to everyone, right?
True.
And there's certain things for me that aren't necessarily worth it. Like I don't want to get everything that I ever wanted to be stressed out, or to not be at peace with myself, or to not, you know, enjoy my life. Because this year also taught me, no matter how, you know, like, you can't wait to enjoy life because shit is always going to happen. You get me?
Yeah.
For lack of a better word, like, it's never going to be smooth sailing. So you have to find time to enjoy your life, because, you know,
Yeah.
there's always going to be rough patches, always.
I like what you said about reaping. I want to tie that in as well to what we're talking about. Sometimes you look back at a year and you be like, yo, this year was tough. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you came up with the keep going, how we came up with the keep going thing.
That was definitely good.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It's actually crazy how that's actually been for all of us one of the biggest lessons.
It has.
Yeah.
And that just came out.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Like, there's that item that I've been sending to the group lately.
Yeah, the one you said this morning.
And that was this morning.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that, yeah.
I also love that, because that's part of one of the biggest lessons. And I'll tie that into reaping as well. You know, God gives you strength when you just start. So, like what Tamu was saying, show up depressed, show up happy, show up sad, show up heartbroken. Just show up, and God will give you the strength to continue. God will give you the strength to continue. And when you talk about reaping, right, when you talk about planting, it's not easy. If you're not going through a difficult period, it may show that you're not reaping. You're not planting. Because it's not supposed to be easy when you're planting. Because when you're planting, you're breaking ground. It's not smooth sailing. So sometimes we can look at it like and say, you know, this year was tough. But we can use that difficulty, all right, and turn it into something that we planted, that we're going to sow later. Or we can throw away that seed and not learn from the lessons. Because either way, we're planting, right? Whether we know it or not, when we're having a tough time, when we're having a tough year. Because your worst year can be your best year.
Yeah. In hindsight.
That's true.
The way you look at it, like I've been looking at it like, damn, this year was so tough, it was such a blessing.
That's something good you could say.
Don't kill me.
But I
Yeah, but for real, bro.
No.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Because also you'll be looking at it too closely when it's happening now.
yeah.
You're too close to the situation.
Yeah.
You can't see the whole.
Take a
the whole
step
board.
back.
Take a
Yeah.
step
And
back.
time is a step back.
Yeah, time is a step back. Take a step back. Really look at it and be like, damn. Okay, but I got harder.
Exactly, yeah. And sorry to cut you off, but even in the same breath of what you're speaking about now, it's like I was speaking to a friend the other day, and she was also telling me about like how hard this year has been for her.
Yeah.
Then she was like, you know, she said that sometimes God gives you what you need and not what you want.
Yes.
And I feel like this year was related
Yeah.
to like,
Yeah.
he'll give you what you need. though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
He'll
year
give you what
definitely
you
got
need.
what I needed.
You get me?
Yeah.
Like what you want will come eventually, right?
Yeah.
But God will always give you what you need.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, I want to say as well, like to that, you want this, but in order to get that, you need to be this.
Yeah.
And in order to be this, you need to go through that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, one of the things that I was praying for a lot the year before this year, I was praying for strength. Like every night I'd pray to myself and say, I'd pray to God and be like, I pray for strength and I pray for wisdom. Right? And the only way you can get strength is if you go through hard times. Because if you want to be someone who's strong, if you want to be a leader, you have to be able to be calm in that storm. And you don't learn how to weather the storm outside of the storm. You learn inside of the storm. So sometimes, sort of like, I want to say be careful what you wish for, but it's like, you're saying I want strength. God will be like, okay, this is, yes, here is I'm giving you this so that you can get strong. And if if let's say your discernment is strong, you can then really lock into that journey that you're in and appreciate the pain that you're going through.
It's a blessing.
Yeah. And appreciate the pain that you're going through. Because sometimes you can even throw away God's blessing. Sometimes suffering can be a blessing from God.
And you're running away from it.
And you're running away from it. But you asked for strength.
Sorry, can I say something to add on to what you're saying now?
Yeah.
I remember a while ago I was watching a Strive Masiwa interview, and he said something along the lines of, this was just after Econet and when he was coming to South Africa. He said something along the lines of, he got on his knees one night and prayed to God and said, God, I'm willing to pay the price, right? And then you said just now, careful what you ask for. And it's like, you have to be able to take the good and the bad, what you perceive as bad, like the hard stuff, what you're planting, that the difficulty of it all. You also have to be able to take that in, because ultimately that's what's going to get you what you want, That's what's going to get you to where you want to be. I thought that tied in very well with what you were saying.
You have to be willing to pay that price.
Yeah.
And I think maybe sometimes what makes it, you can never know how difficult that journey is going to be before you set off.
You can never know.
Yeah.
Every path has its twists and turns.
Yeah.
Whichever one you pick.
Yeah, and like the shirt that I'm wearing now, fail more, win more. You feel me? That's also been like one of our major slogans. Like, in order to win, you have to fail. In order to win, you have to fail. If you're not failing, you're not winning.
Yeah. Lean into your failures.
Yeah.
And your and the thing about failures as well, it's like that saying that the same water that boils an egg, I can't remember the saying, but it's like the same failure that can break you will make someone else.
Yeah. And also like I always say, changing your perception of it.
Yeah.
As well, because for me personally, just now that we're speaking about 2023, like, I failed quite a bit. I wouldn't say I failed because I don't feel it as a failure, right? But I was so close to achieving certain things that I didn't end up achieving. But it's like, I'm happy that the quality of my failures is increasing. You get me?
Yes, I love
like,
that. Yeah.
You feel me? But the quality of failures are increasing. I'm not failing on the little things, you feel me? The only reason I'm failing is because I'm reaching for the moon.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. So I'm gonna always fail because I'm gonna always reach for the moon.
I love that one. Increasing the qualities of your failures.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. You have to, bro.
It's a different level.
Yeah.
Like, it's
that's
a different
progress.
level. Yeah, it's progress.
It is progress. It's failure, but it's progress.
It is,
Like
bro.
you said, it's not really failure.
Yeah, it's not failure.